halflings and warlocks. I am your head witch, Farah. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So for today's Coven meeting, we are going to be playing a game called Antonym Obscure, made by a lovely, lovely person. I wish I could show you. I know my camera's covering it. It's up here. ebi-hime. That is who made this game. It's from itch.io. It looks really good, and hey, I know you guys can see this part. We're playing Boy Love! So here's the story of Antonym Obscure. Nishikino Haruto is down in the dumps. He's already 26, but he doesn't have a lot to show for it, other than a room in a small rundown apartment, complete complex, a crummy job with obnoxious co-workers, and a mountain of regrets. When Haruto was younger, he was part of a band at school, the Unappreciated Egoists. He had vague dreams of making it big and standing on stage with his fellow bandmates, the aloof Rio, the laid-back Taiki, the womanizing Kai, and the self-conscious prodigy, Akira. But Haruto's dream didn't pan out, and the band eventually dissolved. The Unappreciated Egoists went their own ways, and that was the end of that, until Akira put together a band of his own years later, which somehow rockets all the way to superstardom. Now Haruto can't escape from Akira's band Obscure, its mega hit Eternal Autumn, or the complicated feelings he has for Akira. Haruto resents Akira for his success, but he finds himself drawn to his former friend regardless. When Haruto learns that Obscure will be playing locally, he begins to wonder what will happen if he sees Akira again. And does Akira even remember who he is? Now, I found this game on a whim. I was looking for things to record, and I was looking for short ones, like short games on itch.io. Because I didn't want to record something too long, and I wanted to record 2 games in one. Because, yeah, why not? And without typing short in, I found this one. It's about 1 hour to 2 hours long, so it's probably going to be in 2 to 3 parts. But let's get into it. Because I am a huge music lover myself, and all of the songs in this game are original. So, let's get into it. I'm so excited. Ooh. Okay. I can't stand the song Eternal Autumn, which is pretty unfortunate, since it's really freaking popular. Anybody who knows anybody knows Eternal Autumn. It's so beloved. I'm afraid it really will wind up being eternal. It only came out 6 months ago, but it's one of those songs with staying power. Kind of like, Wonderwall. In fact, if you've heard Wonderwall, you've heard Eternal Autumn. They sound kind of similar. They're both rock songs, ostensibly at least. But they're super schmancy. What the fuck is that word? With these simple chord progressions and these whiny sad boy vocals. Let me turn up my brightness so I can actually see. I'd argue Eternal Autumn is worse than Wonderwall, actually, because Eternal Autumn is in Japanese, so I can actually understand all of the lyrics. Give me a second, guys. I want to make sure I'm not washed out. And we're back. I'd argue Eternal Autumn is worse than Wonderwall, actually, because Eternal Autumn is in Japanese, so I can actually understand all of the lyrics. In part, I guess. Oh, he's so cute! I just noticed the art style. He's so cute. I love him. This must be Haruto. Look at this little dimple he has. Oh, that's so cool. Not a dimple, a beauty mark. He's a beautiful man. A beautiful man deserves a beauty mark. I can understand the lyrics on the surface level, but they're kind of convoluted. The song is full of weird imagery, artsy-fartsy shit like "Together we stand against the tide of time, trapped in a snow globe, two lives aligned," and yeah, I'm not gonna go into it. Eternal Autumn was one of the tracks on Obscure's newest album, Polychromia. The other tracks on the album are all standard Obscure stuff. There's a bit of bite to it, a whole load of crunchy guitars, a bunch of pained, tortured lyrics which sound like cries for help, but Eternal Autumn's a different beast from everything else on that album. Hell, it's a different beast to everything Obscure's been putting out for the last 5 years. Obscure's a rock band, but their sound tends to lean pretty heavy. They don't exactly scream in any of their songs. They're not doing metal here. And they have some pretty catchy melodies, but their music's not always been radio friendly. I'd say their usual stuff is kind of aligned with some earlier visual key groups. They're not as edgy as Old Dire and Grey, or as I'm blaming Janice. Here's a little fun thing. Janice, or Janet, I think it's Janet. Janet is the person I blame for all of my mess-ups when it comes to recording. Things I lose, things I forget to do. They're just an imaginary thing. So if I say I'm blaming Janet, that's what I mean. I'd like to say their usual stuff is kind of aligned with some earlier visual key groups. They're not as edgy as Old Dryer and Grey, or as experimental as Malice Miser, but maybe they're somewhere in the middle. Obscure has been decently popular ever since their debut album, Grey Flowers for a Gloomy Girl, but they were popular in this niche underground kind of way. They've always had a boatload of fans, of course. Their official Insta account has a cool 1 million followers, but they were never big. Their album sold well. They went on tours across the country. They've even been on tour across Europe a few times. And I'd occasionally see them on talk shows when flipping through the TV channels late at night. Hello? Sorry guys, I got a notification. I should really turn my phone off. I know Rosario, the bassist, has been in a bunch of men's perfume ads. Rosario is not his real name, by the way. And Caleb, the lead guitarist, is a male model. That is his real name. The guy's half Japanese, half English, I think? But they weren't amazingly famous. They weren't household names or anything. But that all changed when Polychromia came out earlier this year, and Eternal Autumn became the most goddamn popular song on the planet. It's all over TikTok. Not that I use TikTok, even if I am the right demographic for it, and people are talking about it all over social media. Several high-profile singers have covered it, and it's already been arranged to high heaven and back. I was never Obscure's biggest fan, even when they were about as obscure as their name suggested, but the Eternal Autumn insanity isn't doing them any favors. Lately, it feels like I've not been able to go a single day without hearing it. I just stepped out to go Christmas shopping for my family and my few friends, but I've been dogged by Eternal fucking Autumn for the last 2 hours. Sounds like he holds some grudges with this song. I've been inside about a dozen shops, and I've heard that song play in the last 3 stores I went into. And no, I'm not kidding. It's December, so you'd think these stores would have started to play Christmas music already. I think I'd welcome that actually over Eternal Autumn, but no, I can't have what I want. That would be too easy. Fuck. I can't stand that song. Not the breathy vocals or the flanger effect on the guitars, or the lyrics that should be insipid. I got it on my own. I can't stand that song, not the breathy vocals or the flanger effects on the guitars, or the lyrics that should be I literally just had it. Insipid. But they actually sound kind of deep and poetic the more you listen to them, and that's it. I'm officially over this. I was able to buy a few gifts without going postal, at least, so I'm going to count that as a victory. I might as well head back home now. I still want to buy a few more things, but I can do that later. And I'd like to think this little shopping excursion was a net positive, even if I was non-consensually subjected to Eternal Autumn more times than any man should be. And besides, it's early December in Hokkaido, and it's really freaking cold. Since I've gotten most of it over and done with, I might as well go back now. I still want to pick up a couple of gifts for my friends, but thinking about it, we aren't all that close. I do have friends, so I'm not completely pathetic. Please don't look at me like that. That's funny. That's really funny. But they're not BFFs. As a guy, I feel like it's hard to make close friends in general. Men tend not to get too touchy-feely, and we don't tend to be all that emotional either. I have to get gifts for my parents, since they're my parents and all. They did raise me, and I can't exactly ignore my little sister, but the guys at the office? Didn't do that. Kunikida and Sasayama and the others? Forget it. It's not like they need me to get them anything nice. In fact, knowing Sasayama, he'd probably say it's gay for men to buy one another Christmas gifts. Which, I mean, yeah, I am gay, so I guess everything I do is inherently gay. But I don't think buying people presents is an act performed solely by homosexuals. If that really was the case, I think parents all across the world would be pretty opposed to the idea of Santa coming down their chimneys for their children. That's a funny take. That's a really funny take. Well, whatever. It's cold, I'm tired, and I don't want to be bothered buying a gift for Sasayama. So he can roll his eyes at me and say, "Thanks, man, but I'm still not gonna get off with you if that's what you're after." What a dick. What a dick. What a dick. I just want to go home. I pause at the crosswalk, my carrier bag of goods in my hand, waiting for the light to turn green. I'm ready to head on back to the station, but while I'm glancing about, something catches my eye. There's a large billboard. Oh? Music stopped. There's a large billboard over yonder on Fuck you, Janet. One of the skyscrapers which overlooks downtown Sapporo. And what do you know? 4 very familiar faces are emblazoned on that massive billboard. Faces I know a little too well. There's the bassist, Rosario, looking a little like a debauched pirate in this shirt with strings that open at the front, and Caleb, the lead guitarist, wearing a choker and looking all plaintive. Toa, the drummer, is kind of in the back, looking all mysterious, but he's definitely the least interesting of the bunch. He doesn't have a fancy stage name, and he's not part European, and though he's a pretty good musician, he's the drummer. I also realized I should explain something. The reason this isn't like full screen, so you can't see the white, is because every time I try to record with it full screened, it doesn't record all the way. You literally only see a singular screen the entire time. So, we're doing this. No one ever gives a damn about the drummers. In fact, I'm prepared to bet most of the casual Obscure fans don't even know who Toa is. They could walk past him on the street, and they wouldn't know him from your average salaryman. The poor guy. It's almost reassuring in a grim sort of way. I know that even a drummer from a band as famous as Obscure can't catch a break. But the main focus of the billboard is given to Obscure's frontman, the vocalist, second guitarist, and the occasional keyboardist. The frontman, Usui Akira, is looking all sad and plaintive in black. Even sadder and plaintiver and blacker than Toa in the back, who's all shrouded in shadow. Akira's hair is coal black, while his skin is snow white, like a fairy tale princess. His nose and his ears are studded with silver, and though his lips are pursed ever so slightly, I know his tongue is pierced too. He's wearing this casual, scuffed outfit, which should look try-hard. A ripped black shirt and a black leather jacket, complete with these incredibly tight trousers, but it actually manages to make him look sexy. You're gay. Gay for Akira, specifically. Usui Akira is my age. Well, he's about a month younger than I am, but he's positively oozes cool. He's this quiet, retiring guy. Sorry, my foot is falling asleep, and I've barely been sitting for like 5 minutes. Okay. He's this quiet, retiring guy, really. Rosario and Caleb tend to speak the most during their interviews, but on these billboards, Akira dominates. He looks so striking with those dark eyes of his that I find myself frozen in place. The traffic lights already changed. I can hear the cars screeching to a halt on the road, but I don't budge. I can't bring myself to. His presence is so overwhelming that it takes me a moment to realize this billboard was not, in fact, erected solely for the worship of Obscure's frontman. There's actually text on it. Large, bold text announcing to the world that Obscure will be putting on a concert in Sapporo soon. It looks like this is part of Obscure's Polychromia tour to celebrate their newly released album. According to this billboard, Obscure will be playing in Kyoku Bunka Kaiken on the 24th of December. Huh, so it's a Christmas Eve concert, is it? That's... Yeah. Oh! Huh, so it's a Christmas Eve concert, is it? That's pretty soon, and it's kind of daring, too. I imagine most people will have other plans for Christmas Eve. It is a holiday you're supposed to spend with your loved ones. But if anybody can pull in a crowd, even during a big holiday like Christmas Eve, it'll be Obscure. I wonder how long this billboard's been up here. They must have announced this concert a few months in advance. But I never realized they were going to play so close to home. I wonder how long this billboard's been up here. They must have announced the concert a few months in advance, but I never realized they were going to play so close to home. I don't come into Sapporo all that often, since I live out in Ebetsu, so I guess I didn't see it. I have been checking Obscure socials, and I saw the initial announcements for the Polychromia tour, but I didn't look at the dates or the locations too closely. I might have had a passing familiarity with Obscure's activities, and you could say I'm intimately familiar with Usui Akira, but I'm not a fan of theirs. I'd rather suffer the indignity of buying Sasayama a Christmas gift only to have him affectionately call me than go and attend an Obscure concert, especially on Christmas Eve. It might be pretty sad, yeah. It's not like I have a partner and I don't have all that many friends. But I'm not so sad I'd demean myself by going to a concert held by a band I don't like all that much. That's what I keep telling myself, at least. So why does it feel like Akira's eyes are boring straight into mine? Because you're gay! It takes about half an hour for me to get back to my home in Abitsu, by which point I feel totally drained. My place is a 15-minute walk away from the station, and it's freezing cold outside. It actually started to snow, and my hair's a little damp from the fluffy flakes. I'm relieved I was able to make it back to my apartment in one piece, but I'm shivering badly as I tramp up the stairs to my cruddy apartment. My fingers are frozen even inside my gloves, and I fumble ineffectively with my key for a few times, first failing to stick it in the fucking keyhole. Please don't let that be a future moment. Then managing to drop it on the floor. Fuck! I cursed under my breath, the sound short and sharp in the icy air. What a pain. I live in a pretty cruddy apartment block, which was built all the way back in, I don't know, maybe the 70s? I'm not sure, but it's ugly as sin, and it's been poorly maintained, and the heating's not very reliable. All in all, the place is a dump, but I guess it's my dump. I've called this place home ever since I moved out of my parents' home a couple years ago, and I guess I'm attached to it, kinda, sorta. Well, no, maybe not. I can't pretend to love this place. It's so cramped there's not enough room to swing a cat about, and the radiators never seem to work. I'm not exactly living the high life here. But I have my nice, cozy bed, and I guess I love my bed. I've not had a proper relationship in, man, I don't even want to think about how long. Does some tepid affair back in uni with some Chinese exchange student that ultimately went nowhere count? But it can always rely on my bed. It's probably the closest thing I have to a life partner, which, okay, I know that sounds bad, but who doesn't love their bed? It's so nice and warm, especially during the winter. Please wait for me, my wonderful bed. I'm coming for you, just as soon as I get the stupid fucking door open. Okay, so I know this is like a boy love between Haruto and Akira, but it really seems like his true love is the fucking bed. Finally let myself inside, my fingers still spasming, and throw off my coat. My gloves are next to go. It's not like they did much good. Then my scarf and my shoes. Newly undressed, I make a beeline straight for my bed. So tired I don't even bother to turn on the lights. I'm dimly aware that I should change out of my hoodie, which is damp and cold from the snow. But I don't have the energy for that. I just want to lie here and vegetate. Real. While the wind sighs outside and the snow drums against the window pane. I've not been lying here for all that long, but I can feel myself thawing out already. Sleep is beginning to settle on me, just like the snow that's piling up outside. But a familiar face keeps swimming before my eyelids. Oop, let's put that over. No matter how fiercely I bury my face against the pillows, I can't stop thinking about Akira. I wish I could say that this is a first for me, lying awake at night thinking of Obscure's frontman. But this happens more often than I'd like to admit. It's been hard for me to avoid thinking about the stupid band, and it's gotten even worse since Eternal Autumn blew the fuck up. I know it's because of Akira that Obscure have become so, well, unobscure, despite their stupid name. Eternal Autumn has to be one of Akira's songs. It has his fingerprints all over it. How do you know that? Eternal Autumn is a love song through and through, but there's a melancholy undercurrent. The whole thing. Cold, sharp fragments of pain wrapped up in cotton candy. The song is full of regrets, so much so it's positively bursting at the seams. It's a song of days gone by, romance unfulfilled. It's a song about a love story which never had a happy ever after, which advanced far enough to have a once upon a time. It's a song about the past, days we'll never get back. It's a song about Akira. And I'm pretty sure it's a song about me. Guys. What did this guy do to have Akira write a song about unfulfilled love? About him. Despite my supposed hatred of Obscure, I still find myself reaching for my phone in my back pocket. I slide it free, though it's a little awkward to get it out under the covers, then start to search. I bring up a familiar YouTube channel, one I've been subscribed to for 5 years ever since Obscure debuted. Of course. Then I click on their most viewed video by far, Eternal Autumn, with its whopping 300 million views. I set the video to play, and from the very beginning, I'm entranced. For a moment, I even wonder if Akira is thinking about me, if he knows I'm still watching him. Does he know that I never once forgot about him? And would it even make a difference at this point if he did? It might have been 8 years since Akira and I went to school together, but I can still remember what he looked like, what he acted like. I can remember it only too well. Okay. I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna go get water. I will be back. And we're back! And I let my hair down. So, let's go. Usui Akira was a shy boy, insecure and anxious, who transferred into Minato High in his last year. He moved to Sapporo with his mother when he was 17, though I don't think he moved too far. I'm pretty sure he told me he was born in Hokkaido, only he came from a city a little further north. I don't remember all the precise details, it's been a while, and we had a lot of meandering conversations peppered with meaningless words. He told me a little about his family, about his father, who had divorced his mother to marry his secretary. Why his secretary, of all things? Isn't that a little cliche? And his mother, who'd done her best to raise him on her own. He told me a little about the old schools he'd been to and how he'd been teased for being so shy, unusually so for such a tall boy. But we mostly talked about music. I used to play the drums while Akira still is, I guess, a guitarist. We played different instruments, but I dabbled a little when I was younger, so I knew some of the basics. He'd ask me for advice, and I did my best to help him. I tried to give him moral support. Or maybe it'd be more accurate to say I tried to give him a kick in the backside so he could stand on his own 2 feet. I'm not sure how I felt about Akira, even now. I think part of me found his self-effacing attitude annoying, but another part of me envied his skills. He really was talented. And the funny thing is, I don't think he realized it. He can't have done, or he wouldn't have come to me asking about his playing so often. That's right. It's all coming back to me. I can remember the run-up to the school culture festival and the set list that Rio helped us devise. I can remember how worked up Akira was about performing in front of the school in the gymnasium, his first ever performance. I remember our club room, which was always a bit of a mess since it was mostly used as a remedial classroom for kids struggling with their literacy skills. Colorful educational posters that would have been more suitable for a primary school tacked up on the walls. I remember the faint, sticky smell of cherry soda, which permeated the air. After Kai accidentally dropped a bottle of the stuff during one practice session and it spattered everywhere. Now, why do you remember a sunset? Now, why do you remember a sunset? Huh? And I remember the washed out sunlight of the setting sun as it filtered in through the blinds, hitting the beige wall opposite in stripes like a tiger's pelt. I remember. He's so cute! Okay, I gotta come up with a voice for him. Hold on. Hey, Haruto? I was fiddling around a little with the arrangement of Sakura Panic, and I think the bridge between the verse and the chorus sounds a little more dynamic like this. Would you mind if I showed you? Huh? I glanced at Akira, disinterestedly, a rag in one hand and a bottle of disinfectant in the other. I only hung around the club room after our other band members, Kai, Rio, and Taiki, skedaddled so I could do some maintenance on my old drum kit. It's a little beat up. Well, drummers are meant to beat up their drums, I guess, so I wanted to give it a bit of a clean. It felt like the right time, especially. Oh! I just noticed this down here. It looks like, the sound thingies. You know what I'm saying. It felt like the right time, especially since the school culture festival is coming up, and we're supposed to be playing. I just want my drums to look presentable. Of course you do. Of course you do. It's not like I stayed back because I wanted to listen to more of Akira's neurotic ramblings about music. Yeah, sure. In fact, that's the last thing I want to hear right now. I just want to clean my drum kit and head home. That was my plan, at least, but... Are you looking for my advice again? If you wouldn't mind. I know that you helped Rio write the song, so I wanted to see what your opinion was. I'm afraid it might disrupt the flow of the piece a little. It sounds good with the guitar, at least, I think it does. But I wasn't sure how it would work with the drums. Ah, so that's why he's so interested in what I have to say, is it? Well, it's nice to know he cares enough to ask, rather than ad-libbing during the concert like some ego-tripping asshole. I barely wrote this song. I only gave Rio a couple of ideas. I'm not that into composition, you know. I've been into music since I was about 5. And by into music, I mean I worked my way through the piano, guitar, and the mandolin. Don't ask. Before I settled on the drums, and I'm not that much of a nerd, but I'm not that much of a nerd. I might have helped Rio out on a few of the Light Music Club's original songs, Sakura Panic, Tokimeki Check-In, and Synopsis Relapse, but I only gave a few suggestions. Songwriting isn't my forte. I'm not exactly on Gaket's level here, but I guess I'm not completely hopeless. I don't see why Akira always comes to me for advice, though. If he wanted any help, he'd be better off asking Rio, or Akira does. But. Wah! Come on, Janet. Did I explain Janet already? I think I did. I think it was this recording. But Akira doesn't talk to Ryo all that much. Akira's been part of the Light Music Club since early May, but he doesn't really speak to anybody except me. I don't know why Akira latched onto me in particular, but I guess I don't hate it. It's also endearing in its own way. Sorry, I was burping. But there's only so much help I can give him. I wish he'd hash this stuff out with Ryo instead, but... I know that, but the others have already gone home. Yeah, because you didn't ask them to stay and give you any advice, idiot. I can't really ask them now. And anyway, you're a little easier to talk to than the others. We are in the same class and all, so... Do you mind taking a listen? Also, I love the backtrack. This is like... so good. Geez, I can see my plans turning to dust already before my very eyes. But what choice do I have? He's asking so nicely. I'd feel bad if I told him no. I don't want to upset Akira, but maybe this is why he always asks me for advice rather than Ryo or Kai or Taiki. Fuck you, Janet. It's because I'm the only bleeding heart in the club who indulges him. Taiki's too busy helping out at his parents' store. At his parents' store to hang around at the music club all that much, and I know Kai's been busy hanging out with his girlfriend, and Ryo... I don't really know where Ryo fucks off to. He's pretty mysterious like that. Still, I don't have any real plans other than reading manga in my room until my mom calls me down for dinner, so... Alright. Fine. If you want to play for me that badly, you might as well. Let's hear what you've come up with. Right. Thank you, Haruto. It's no prob. Now, are you gonna get hurried along? Some of us have things to do. Like read the latest chapter of Bleach. That's incredibly important. Not that I expect an honor student like Akira to know that. I bet he's never read a single issue of Shonen Jump in his life. He's way too studious. Right. Of course. I'm sorry. Akira readjusts his grip on his guitar, then rests his fingers against the fretboard. There's a small pause. A moment of silence. This was earlier. This played earlier. I still love it. And then he begins to play. It's a song I know well. Though, maybe I should say this is a snippet of a song I know well. This is Sakura Panic, one of Ryo's originals. It's one of the tracks we're planning to play, and by we, I mean the inappropriate... Fuck off, Janet. The Unappreciated Egoists. That's the name of our band. At the school culture festival. We have a pretty slim track list, comprised of only 5 songs, 3 originals, 2 covers. One of our cover songs is Hitomiyasa I by the Blue Hearts. Hey, don't look at me like that. It's from 1987. It's not that old. I know they're an older band, but I still like them. And the other's an instrumental of Dig Up Her Bones by Misfits. Okay, that's a good song. But none of us are confident enough in our English to even attempt vocals. We got our set list all planned out, and we've spent the last few weeks working on getting these songs done. We've just been painting by numbers, really, sticking to the same old. But Akira's not content to leave well enough alone. Of course he's not. He wants to impress you. He keeps fiddling with our songs for whatever reason, improvising thank you, arpeggio run here and an extra riff there. I'm not sure why he can't play the songs the way he's supposed to without all these little flourishes, but I've gotta admit, he's doing a pretty good job at it. It'd be easier if he just played what he was supposed to, but this does sound better. There's way more texture. It's crunchier, I guess. There's more to chew on. And he hasn't changed things up all that much either. He only changed the song. Guys, what if the reason, this is me speculating here, but what if the reason that this song plays whenever Haruto thinks about Akira is because this is the song that always makes him think about this day. He only changed the song up a little bit, but it sounds significantly better. What a show-off. The last few notes of his guitar riff fade away, his fingers stilling on the strings. Akira looks at me anxiously. For a guy, he sure does have big eyes. Why do you know that? Why did you notice that? They're so wide and brown like a fawn's, as he says. So, how was that? I think my opinion should go without saying, really. Akira's playing was good, but I'd expect nothing less of him. He's always been the best musician in unappreciated egoists. The other guys mostly see the band as a laugh, as if that wasn't immediately obvious from the name that Rio just picked. From the name. I think Rio just picked that name on a whim because he thought it was funny, though Rio's sense of humor has always been a little screwy. He's dry and sarcastic, and in some ways, he kind of reminds me of my grandfather. Rio might be 18, just like I am, but he acts so perpetually fed up. You'd think he has the soul of a much older man. He's pretty grumpy, and his sense of humor is kind of mean-spirited. I've always thought our band name was meant to be a dig at us, because we're nobodies. Hell, he might as well have called us the Nobodies, to make it extra explicit. But I'm getting off topic. I do that a lot, even in my flashbacks, apparently. My bad. Point is, our band is really just some glorified after-school thing. Hello? The point is, our band is really just some glorified after-school thing. There's only 5 members in our band. A drummer, that's me. A bassist, that's Rio. A keyboardist, that's Kai. And 2 guitarists, one of them being Akira, the other Taiki. We're just 5 guys who fuck around after school. It's not like any of us have any dreams of being signed onto a big record company or going pro. Rio's pretty smart, even if he acts bored and disinterested most of the time. And he'll be going off to medical school once we graduate. The rest of us don't have a future career prospects as bright as Rio. There's no hope in hell I'll ever get into med school. My grades are nowhere near good enough. Me too. But we all have our plans of our own. Kai's going to go to vocational school, and I've already been accepted to some middle-of-the-road uni in Sapporo. Once high school finishes, the unappreciated egoists will be no more. Our band is doomed to remain unappreciated, like the name suggests, because we're going to fold soon enough. With all that in mind, what's the point in trying? We're just killing time, so we might as well enjoy ourselves. I just want to put on a show at the school culture festival. That's good enough. So I don't make a complete idiot out of myself. Hello? Out of myself. But Akira can't leave well enough alone. He keeps practicing even though he's way better than the rest of us already. He's so much better than the rest of us, in fact, it makes me feel kind of sick. Why does he put so much energy into her stupid band? Part of me wishes I felt even halfway as passionate about the band as he does. But I can't lie to myself that I really want this. For me, the unappreciated egoists is just a fun distraction from my daily life. But for Akira, is everything alright, Haruto? It didn't sound bad, did it? Fuck. I'll be damned if I know what the band is to him, and I don't know if I care. We're just about close enough that I can call him by his given name instead of the more distant Yusui. But we're not BFFs. I don't care why he works so hard on his picking and his bending and whatever the hell else he's been brushing up on. But I wish he wouldn't bother. Doesn't he know that it makes the rest of us look bad? Maybe he wants to impress you? You ever think that? It'd be fine if we were all on about the same general level of okayness, but Akira's putting in way too much work here. I'm tempted to smack him upside the head. But I don't want to get emotionally involved in all of this. I don't care about our playing. So I guess it's easiest to brush Akira's inquiries off with a shrug. And, sorry, man. I guess I was spacing out for a sec there. What you did sounded just fine, though. Did it really? I changed it up a little, so now the tone's a little more moody, and I used some... Okay. It's that time again, guys. Hello? Aeolian chord progression in this part, so I could... Oh boy. And on he goes. Blah, blah, blah. I know a little about music theory myself, but I'm mostly self-taught. A lot of this terminology is flying over my head. And damn, does he need to be this specific. Alright, Van Halen, hold up. I get you care a lot about your performance, which is admirable, I guess. But I don't know why you're worrying so much. We're just gonna be performing at the school culture festival. We'll be in the gym, and we'll be playing in front of the same classmates we see every single day. Do you think any of them know what an Aeolian chord progression is? Well, no, but... Well then, there you go. You don't gotta get into the weeds so much. So long as you don't screw up too badly on stage, everything will be fine. Do you really think so? Sure. Most people won't even be able to tell if you make any mistakes if you power through it. You've just gotta fake it until you make it. But you're like way past that stage already, compared to me and Rio and the others. You've already made it. You're a good guitar player, so stop fussing. Just play the solo like you're supposed to, and it'll be fine. That's what my mother told me too. She said I was thinking about this too much, just like you. But this is all very new to me. I've never performed in front of an audience before, so I'm a little uneasy, I guess. It's a bit scary, actually. Well, there is that. The other members of Unappreciated Egoists have played a handful of times before, at last year's Culture Fest, and at this small local club that Taiki's aunt runs. But Akira's a new addition to our group. He only joined the school at the start of the school year, and he's been a member of Unappreciated Egoists for all of 3 months. I guess he's being thrown into the deep end, so to speak. Oh, come on, bro. You don't need to be scared. Not with your skill level. You'll crush it. Crush? I mean, it'll be fine. You're already way better than our last lead guitarist, Toru. But don't let him know I said that. I approach Akira, then drop my voice to a conspiratable whisper. He'd be real sad if he knew I just said that. Like he isn't sad about Akira all but usurping his position already. Toru quit the light music club at the end of last year because he fucked up his hand playing basketball, and Akira wound up joining the club and taking his spot at the start of the year. I think Toru's a little sore about it, but he's always been more into basketball than he is in the guitar. His playing was sloppy, and he's always making mistakes. Akira's far, far better than he ever was. And he's a good deal better than Taiki, too. Come to think of it, maybe that's why Taiki's been helping his parents out at the store more lately instead of hanging behind practice. Maybe he doesn't want to be shown up by Akira. That might sound kind of petty, but that is the case, I get it. I wouldn't want to be shown up by Akira either. Right. Akira flushes. I guess he's the type who's weak against compliments, or it's because you just whispered seductively in his ear. Against compliments, and glances to one side. I'm, very glad you think so. I'd never tell Toru that, of course. I wouldn't want to upset him. I'd rather not make enemies, especially when all of the current members of the music club have been so nice. You've all been looking out for me in your own way. Is he including Rio in that assessment? If so, I'm tempted to call BS on that. I don't think Rio knows how to look out for anyone. He doesn't even like cats. Sometimes it's enough to make me wonder if the guy's a legit sociopath. Which is why I want to make sure my performance is the best it can be. I don't want to show anybody up. Which is why I want to make sure my performance is the best it can be. I don't want to show anybody up. Not when you've all been at this for so long. That'll really be inexcusable. Rather, man, I always knew this guy was stiff, but he's acting way too differential here. I'd like to tell Akira to stop being such a wuss, but I don't know if that'd help any. He looks legit anxious, fiddling with the sleeve of his jacket like that. So much so, I feel compelled to help him. I know I said I didn't want to get involved, but that still holds true, but hey, Akira, you said you've never performed on stage before. Akira shakes his head. Alright then, it seems like you're less concerned about your technical skills, which are solid by the way, and more about making mistakes when you're up on stage. So I'll just need to give you some immersive training. They say the best way to get over your fears is to face them head on, so why don't you come with me? I think I know how to help. What? Haruto? Hey, wait! I'm not waiting. You're the one who asked me for help, remember? You wanted my advice, so you're damn well gonna get it. Unless you want to waste my time. No. Of course I don't. I'm sure you're a very busy person. I don't want to get in the way. I was just hoping... I don't care what you were hoping. If you want to learn how to play in front of other people, you're gonna get used to it. So come here, pretty boy, and let's start training you up. I incline my head in the direction of the doorway while Akira swallows, looking all pitiful. There's a small pause. A moment where Akira looks at me uneasily and then... alright, I'm coming. That's what she said. I think, with a small smirk, when Akira doesn't see. Mercifully, since I've already spun about on my heels. I exit the club room where Akira was practicing and step out into the hallway. The day is getting on, and the sky beyond the glass windows is a reddish-yellow color, the sun slowly sinking in the sky. The sky looks a little bit like orange juice, while the clouds, which drift around in it, remind me of ice cubes. Akira and I stayed behind after school for a good hour and a half after class let out, and Fuck you, Janet. Akira and I stayed behind after school for a good hour and a half after classes let out, and the hallway's more or less empty. A couple of students passed us in PE uniforms. I think they might be members of the track team, and it looks like the library's still open, but the school's more or less deserted. It isn't creepy, though, not like quiet schools are in horror movies. There's just enough people left to lend the school a cozy sort of feeling. Maybe it's because of the orange sky which filters in through the windows. In any case, I've got to hurry. The school's gonna close in another hour, and I still haven't given Akira a proper pep talk. I'll be damned if I'm going to let him fuck up our performance at the school culture festival because of his nerves. Not that I really care about the school culture festival or anything. I just don't want him making too many stupid mistakes. I need Akira to get over how stupidly self-conscious he is, which is why I lead him through the quiet corridors all the way up to... Oh, are we allowed to come up here? It's fine, I have a key, see? I hold up a key in my right hand, a silver thing, which winks in the sunlight. I use the key to unlock the door, well duh, which leads onto the school roof, then step outside. Students aren't supposed to come up onto the school roof, but some of us have special privilege, including yours truly. Akira must be wondering about that because he looks at me curiously and says, why do you have that? Oh, it wasn't too hard to get my hands on. I just had to go on a date with the headmistress. You know, she has a thing for younger guys. Huh? I'm teasing, of course. I mean, isn't it obvious? But Akira's so pure it looks like he's taking this at face value. Is that really alright, though? I mean, there's young, and then there's young, and she's a teacher. Here, Akira's voice drops to a scandalous whisper, even though there's nobody on the roof to overhear us. He blinks, looking all abashed as he mumbles, Isn't that illegal? She could get fired for that, or thrown in prison. There's no way that's allowed, it seems. Ouch! Akira doesn't get a chance to tell me what it seems, however, because I deliver a swift flick to his forehead, one which makes him reel. What was that for? It was to make you calm down, duh. Now listen, of course I'm not carrying on some sordid relationship with the headmistress. She's like 60, and she's already married. I think she has grandchildren that are our age, and I do have some self-respect. Even if she did make a move on me, I wouldn't exactly reciprocate. Then why did you say that? Then why did you say that you did? Why not? I wanted to see how you'd react, and it was priceless like I imagined. Then you were teasing me? Well done. You want an award for your amazing powers of observation? Now look here, I'm not dating the headmistress, or anybody for that matter. My love life's about as dry as the Sahara Desert. I was given a key in case I ever want to practice the drums on the roof. You know, because they're so loud, and the music club room isn't exactly soundproof. Oh, that does make sense, I guess. But I've never seen you come up here before. Well, yeah. Hauling my drum kit around's a pain. I don't do it all that often, and it snows so much in the winter, it's not really worth it. Still, I figure you might as well play up here. We have the space, so why not? Now look here. I know you have the lowest self-esteem known to man. And I know that you're afraid of playing on stage. That's pretty obvious. But I figured I could help you get used to it if you played somewhere a little more open. If there wasn't a volleyball match on right now, I would have gone to the gym. But since we can't do that, you'll just have to pretend that this roof is your stage, and your adoring fans are all over there. Do you think this will help you relax? Akira frowns, then glances across the rooftop, a vast, smooth expanse of concrete where students are rarely allowed to go. I can see a few birds superimposed against the sun, black arches which look like hastily drawn cartoon scribbles. Our school is located on a hill, and in the distance, past the roofs of the buildings, I can see the mountains, rough and craggy, all tinged with red-yellow light. I press a hand to my neck, massaging it, while Akira continues to stand there. He blinks, then says, "It might help, actually. If nothing else, it could make a nice change of pace from playing in the club room. Though I was wondering about something, actually." "What sort of something?" "Well, I don't know if you'd be interested. Try me." "Right. I guess I won't know until I ask." Akira swallows, then glances at me shyly. "I don't want to impose, but since we came all the way up here, I've been practicing our set list for the Culture Festival show during the last couple of weeks. But that's not everything I've been doing. I've actually been composing a song of my own." "Oh yeah?" Yeah, the idea just came to me, I guess, before I was able to go to sleep. I liked the melody, so I figured I'd scribble it down. But I didn't intend to do anything with it. It was just a bit of fun. I want to repeat, I love the backing music to this. It's so good. It was just a bit of fun, I guess. I didn't think it'd be anything serious, especially when I was still practicing for the Culture Festival. But I had a few more ideas, and I got kind of into it, so I started to noodle away at the song in my spare time, and before I knew it, I'd more or less finished it. I still haven't gotten the ending down, and some of the transitions are kind of rough, but I thought it'd be nice to share it with somebody. "And you wanted to share it with me?" "If you wouldn't mind hearing it. I don't want to be a bother. But I've composed a few songs before, and this is the first one I've really liked. I wound up scrapping the others since they sounded too derivative. I think I took a bit too much inspiration from Mayavi, but this one stood out to me. I think it sounds nice, if that doesn't sound too big-headed." Oh, his eyebrows go up. Oh, he's so flushed. "I was thinking it might be nice to play it during the Culture Festival too, if we have a spare couple of minutes, but I'd really like to hear your opinion first. For all I know, it could be utterly terrible, and I've just convinced myself it's decent. I've been fiddling around with the composition for a while, so I can't really tell. I need a pair of fresh ears, if you don't mind." So Akira wants me to be his audience, does he? This is nothing new. He's always asking for my opinion, but he's never asked me to listen to an original composition of his before. He likes to put his own spin on existing songs like he did with Sakura Panic earlier, but he's always modifying somebody else's work. Rio's in the case of Sakura Panic. I didn't know Akira composed his own songs, though. Maybe I should have. He seems like the sort who would. I'm actually impressed he was able to work up the courage to ask me to take a listen to and potentially tear into something he wrote himself, but... You said you wanted to play this at the Culture Festival? If there's enough time, and if it's good enough, of course. I don't really know if Rio would be alright with it. I think it might be too sentimental. Well, I wonder. I don't know. I can't make any final decisions. I'm not the leader of the band, but it's probably too late to change our plans. I mean, we only have a week left until the show. It all seems a little bit last minute, and you know how Rio gets when it comes to planning shit. Oh, right, of course. Akira laughs awkwardly in this very Akira way, so mild-mannered and self-conscious it kind of makes me want to deck him. Isn't he supposed to be a guy? Why is he so shy? Hell, he's way taller than I am. You'd think he'd be a bit more confident. But I guess not. He's not like Kai or Taiki, and he's definitely not like Rio. He's not quite like any other guy I've met before. Oh, really? But I still want to look out for him. I wonder why that is. I'm sure my little sister would snicker at my ignorance and direct me to some of the seedy boy love drama CDs she likes so much, if I want any help answering that question, but that's not an avenue I'm prepared to go down. It's not like this is a gay thing. I just want to support Akira if I can, because he's more talented than he gives himself credit for. He's a gifted musician, but can't seem to see that. Why is it always the most hardworking people who are the most blind when it comes to recognizing their own abilities? It's actually really irritating. Well, you're right about that. I wouldn't want to ruin Rio's plans, especially when we've been practicing the Blue Hearts cover. But I'd still like to play this song for you, just to see what you think. It's fine if we can't play it at the Culture Festival. It probably isn't ready for that, to be honest. It's still a rough draft, like I said, but I would like some feedback. Would you mind? Sure, knock yourself out. But not literally, of course. I am kind of interested to see what you've been cooking up. Right, thank you, Haruto. This song doesn't have a name yet. I could care about that. The names are the last thing I fuss about when it comes to music. Trust Akira to worry about something girly like that. But I hope you enjoy it. Akira doesn't say this as a statement. Of course, I can hear the question mark working its way into his words, spoiling whatever dignity he might have had. His shoulders look stiff, like he's about to march off into a battle. And geez, why is he shaking so much? That's not going to do him any favors when he starts playing. He's messed up already before he even pressed his fingertips against the frets. That's what I think, at least. But when Akira starts playing his nameless song, his work in progress, all of my pessimistic thoughts are soon silenced. Akira's song, well, it's soft and gentle, and it's more melancholy than I expected. There's a real pathos to this song, and his fingers find the well-thumbed strings of his guitar. It's a deceptively simple song, and the chord progressions aren't anything special, and the fingerwork doesn't seem too fancy, but though the BPM is a bit on the slow side, it's not really a rock song, it feels more like a ballad. There's something haunting about it, almost ethereal. It's beautiful. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it. His songs really is breathtaking, and coming from me, that's saying something. I'm not a sentimental guy. In fact, I'm the opposite of sentimental. Kohans.
Bye, guys!
I want to see if I'm pronouncing it. Okay. Kohane's always telling me I should be more tactful, that I need to get a clue, like that's something you can pick up from the convenience store alongside a copy of Weekly Shonen Jump. I'm pretty matter of fact, and I don't mince my words. Fuck you, Janet. I speak pretty bluntly, and I don't really care about sparing other people's feelings. I don't cry when I watch movies or when I listen to especially sad songs. I might have gotten a bit sniffly once when I saw a seal being maimed in some documentary, but that's about it. I listen to a lot of music from all sorts of bands. Japanese, Chinese, American, British, you name it, but Akira's song. There's something haunting about it. What compelled Akira to compose this? What was he trying to express? I couldn't say. But despite Akira's obvious discomfort about playing an unfinished piece, it's undeniably effective. I find myself drawn into the song further and further until... So, hold on, that's not the voice I did for him. So, all of a sudden the song stops. The last note doesn't fade away gracefully into the cool, crisp air. It comes to a halt too quickly, so I'm forcefully thrown out of the evocative, 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 evocated, evocative world Akira was able to craft with his delicate playing. I feel disoriented even as Akira says, "What did you think?" Ugh, what am I meant to say to that? If I were in some seedy dive bar, I'd be shouting and demanding an encore. If I were in an opera house, I'd be up on my feet in anticipation of a standing ovation. That's how good Akira's playing was. It was a moving piece. So why is he coming over all meek? I know he has all the self-worth of a sea sponge, but geez, learn to read the room. Or, the roof. Oh, for fuck's sake. I take a step towards Akira. He flinches, clutching his guitar like it's his baby. Then say, "Are you being serious right now?" Well, I'm not joking. Why? Do you think I was? Man, this guy. Why does he have to be so painfully earnest? Actually, maybe that's why I'm so soft on him. Kind of reminds me of the unfortunate seal I saw in the nature documentary ages ago. That's terrible. The one which made me feel all sniffly. No, I think you're being serious, but that pisses me off even more. Why'd you always need to ask me how good you are? You know the answer already, unless you just want to make me praise you. I'm sorry. I really don't know what you mean, though. Did I do something wrong? No, you idiot. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You played so perfectly, it's almost criminal. You're way too good at that guitar. Are you sure you aren't, like, descended from Jimi Hendrix? I mean, what the hell? Huh? Do you really mean that? Oops. Yeah, I mean that. But don't make me repeat it. You don't want me to keep kissing your ass, do you? Of course not. That's the last thing I want. Well, stop being such a weirdo then. I don't think you're fishing for compliments. I know you're not calculating enough for that. But there's such a thing as being too humble, you know. The song's great. I liked it a lot. If you play it for Rio, I bet he'll love it too. Do you think so? Well, as much as Rio can love anything, I know he can be a bit of a dick, but he does have a heart. At least I think he does. He might not like cats or small children, but he can tolerate Nanami, so he can't be all that bad. If you play that song for him, just like you did for me, I'm sure he'll let you add it into the program somewhere. Really? Yes, really. I'm not just saying these things, you know. Don't look so, I don't know, grateful. I'm not trying to be nice, I'm telling the truth. If your song sucked shit, I'd tell you that too. I didn't. Worst luck. I know this sounds mean, but part of me, a petty, vindictive part, almost wishes his song did sound bad. So bad, I wouldn't have to praise him so effusively. It's pretty embarrassing, but I don't think Rio will have any issue with it. Even if he can be kind of precious when it comes to preparing shit. Your song's better than any cover, though. I think it'll go down well. Even if I happen to like the blue hearts. And if nothing else, I'm sure the girls will all love you. The girls? Akira blinks at me from behind his thick glasses, wide-eyed as though I just said something outlandish, something like the man-eating predators will all love you. Though knowing some of the girls at the school, that might not be too far from the truth. None of our female classmates are evil aliens. Well, not to my knowledge. I don't really understand half of the stuff that Nanami and her gang come out with, though. But they can be kind of tough to deal with. Akira smiles vaguely, a shy, awkward smile, as he says, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if there's anything all that interesting about me. I doubt the girls at the school would care. Well, that's where you'd be wrong. I don't see the appeal myself, but you have this kind of sad, kicked puppy look to you a lot of girls seem to be into. For some inexplicable reason. And doesn't Nanami like you? Nanami? You know, Rio's friend, the one who's always rolling up her skirts, the flashy girl. Oh, maybe she does? If I'm honest, I'm not been paying all that much attention to it, to any girls. I've been too busy practicing. I want to keep getting better, so you're going. Fuck you, Janet. So you're gonna ignore every single girl who looks at you. Oh well, that's your loss. I can't say I get it myself. Though maybe I kind of can, in Nanami's case. I don't know if she'd make a good girlfriend material. She's so aggressive. My mother says I'd probably do well marrying an aggressive woman so she can whip me into shape. I kind of get lost, I guess, on my own, in my own world, I mean. Well, I can see that. But I think it's important that I keep practicing. I don't want to let you down. And then after the culture festival, I want to tell you something. It's important. Why after the festival specifically? Well, sorry, but it's a secret. Please. If you say it like that, it's only going to make me even more interested. What's so important, you're going to make a huge production out of it, but you can't do it until after the culture festival. Well, Wait, don't tell me. This isn't going to be like some sappy TV drama, is it? You aren't dying of cancer, are you? It's a bit of a long shot, to be honest. I'm just pulling some bullshit plotline from one of my sister's favorite TV shows. Okay. Can we agree that Kohane would love heated rivalry? And I don't expect to hit the mark. In fact, I'm actually hoping I'm mistaken. I'd feel awful if it turned out that was the truth, so I'm relieved when Akira yelps. What? No, of course not. I'm fine. Why would you assume something so morbid? I don't look sick, do I? You're a bit peaky, yeah. You're so pale, in fact, you look like you never go outside. Are you sure you're not anemic? My mother asks me that sometimes, too, though my doctor said I was just fine during my last checkup. I think I'm just a pale person. But no, this thing I want to tell you about isn't that serious. It's more... He pauses, then sighs. I have a lot going on, I guess. Getting ready for the culture festival. I've been worrying about it. It's the first time I've ever performed in front of anybody else, so I don't want to risk making things awkward. I'd rather do a good job at our performance than speak to you about this later. I don't want it hanging over me. If that's alright. Personally, I find this all kind of weird. Wouldn't this unspoken important thing hang over Akira even more the longer he refuses to spill the beans? But, sure, it's your life. You gotta do what you think is best for you, and you have to look after yourself too. You need to be in good shape if our concert's going to be You hear this? Janet's fucking me up. You need to be in good shape if our concert's going to succeed. You're the best asset we have. Do you really think so? Duh. Everybody knows you're the best member of our band. You're way, way more dedicated than the womanizer Kai, and you put in more practice than the rest of us put in together. But together. We'll be counting on you. Don't screw up, otherwise you'll never get to tell me whatever it is you want to say. Right, I'll do my best. I can still remember the way Akira said that. The way his brown eyes lit up just like a puppy's. He really did look cute back then, with his curly hair and his earnest enthusiasm. I'd only just started to think I might be into guys, and I think his bright smile caught me off guard. It was enough to make me feel a little fluttery. But that was years and years ago. At this point, it's practically ancient history. Jeez. What am I doing ranking all this shit now? It's not like I can do anything about it. I never did get to hear what Akira wanted to say to me after the school culture festival. Now 8 years have passed. I doubt I ever will. It's pointless even to dwell on it, but I still find myself sighing. You're raking it back up because you're in love with him. I don't know why I looked at my mic. Ugh! I was watching the official music video for Eternal Autumn, but it since shifted away to some DVD rip of a concert Obscure held a couple years ago. I think as part of their barbed wire and stainless steel tour. Anyway, this rip is high quality. There's a few sweeping shots of the concert hall, which is a pretty big venue. It looks like it can seat around 5,000 people, and a lot of close-ups of Akira. I watch Akira, my brow furrowed, as he sings his way through an obscure classic, one of my favorites. This is from 0 to 1, one of their darker, grittier songs. Akira's singing it with real passion, his eyes narrowed, face screwed up as though he's in real pain. His piercings glint in his ears beneath the harsh stage lighting, and his eyes are dark with makeup. He should, by all rights, look ridiculous, wearing his distressed fishnets, his eyeshadow dripping down his face like faux tears. But irritatingly enough, it's the exact opposite. Somehow, he manages to make the whole living corpse thing look appealing. Was Akira always this handsome? I guess he was reasonably good-looking. He was a reasonably good-looking guy even back in high school. But I think his anxiety ruined his looks a little. He was always walking around with his shoulders slumped, his eyes to the ground as though he was afraid of making eye contact with anybody. Which, knowing how Akira used to be, he probably was. I think Akira had a few fans even back then. I do remember at least one girl from our class gave him chocolates on Valentine's Day. But he didn't stand out in a huge way. Akira might have been handsome, but he's always too shy and self-conscious to capitalize on it. The Akira I can see on stage, however, looks nothing like the Akira I remember. He looks out at the large audience before him without flinching. He sings his heart out, his voice rubbed raw from the sheer intensity of his emotions. And as he sings, he manipulates his guitar with such dexterity it's enough to take my breath away. I used to choke. Yeah, you wanna choke. Sorry. I used to joke back in high school that he fancied himself as the next Hendrix. But these jokes don't seem quite so jokey anymore. Akira was talented even back in school, but he's improved in leaps and bounds. Is it any wonder that Obscures became so popular? Maybe it was only a matter of time. Nobody can deny Akira's raw talent. He's beloved all across Japan. His technical abilities, his appearance, praised and envied by thousands, hundreds of thousands across the country. He's come a long way. And I, meanwhile, am stuck here in this small, dreary corner of the world, where it always seems to snow, watching him as I curl up in bed. The snow outside continues to howl. The sound sad and mournful, and I sigh. I feel pretty darn sad and mournful myself, all things considered. I wish I could be happy for Akira and his success, and I guess a small sliver of me is, but more than anything, I can't help but feel bitter. I know Akira worked hard for this, and I never say he doesn't deserve it, but I can't help but wonder whether he'd be on that stage at all if it wasn't for me. If I hadn't taken him onto the school roof all those years ago, and if I'd not complimented him on his performance, would he have found the strength to keep on going? Does Akira still remember that day? Does he ever think about me? And that's where we're gonna end it for today, guys. This is so good. I'm so excited to continue recording this. This is so good. If you guys want to play it on your own, I'll link it down below. I'm also going to put all the credits in it in the description as well. There will be links to my other socials, and there will be a link to my new Discord server. We have a Discord server, guys, so feel free to join. But yeah, if you liked the video, please leave a like on it, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next Coven meeting. Bye, guys!